Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a release that is seriously challenging the very definition of power in artificial intelligence, OpenAI's brand new GPT-OSS. So let's just start with a crazy question. What if you could get something like GPT-4, but for free, and you could keep it forever? Sounds nuts, right? Well, for years, the best AI has been locked away behind these big corporate walls. But a brand new release from OpenAI has just made something very, very similar a reality. And trust me, it's about to change everything. Okay, so to really get why this is such a huge deal, we've got to take a step back and look at the power divide that exists in the AI world right now. I mean, what was the fundamental problem that this thing is trying to solve? You know, for years, the most powerful AI models, think GPT-4, have been total black boxes. They're amazing, right? But they're locked down. You can talk to them through an API, but that's it. You can't see how they work, you can't tweak them, and you definitely can't run them securely with your own private data. This creates this huge gap, you know? It really holds back what developers and businesses can do. But then, on August 5th, 2025, everything changed. OpenAI dropped something that was a powerful answer to this exact problem. And honestly, it was a massive return to their open source roots.
And look, this wasn't just them releasing another model. No way. This was a statement. For years, they kept their best stuff, like GPT-3 and GPT-4, completely proprietary. But now, with GPT-OSS, they're basically handing over the keys to the kingdom. They're giving everyone access to a state-of-the-art model that you can use, change, and build on however you want.
And let me tell you, they did not skimp on the power. The main model comes with a staggering 1,117 billion parameters. Just think about that. Parameters are kind of like the individual neurons or knobs the AI uses to think, and this thing has more of them than pretty much any open model we've ever seen. Okay, so you're probably thinking 117 billion parameters? How on earth is anyone supposed to run that without a warehouse full of computers? And that's a great question. The secret, and it's a brilliant one, is all in its revolutionary architecture. All right, let's talk about this secret sauce. It's a really clever technique called mixture of experts, or MOE for short. Now, instead of being one single giant brain that does everything, think of it more like a team of specialists. You've got different expert networks, and each one is a pro at something specific. So here's the cool part. When you send in a query, let's say you ask it to write some code, a smart little router inside the model doesn't wake up the whole 117 billion parameters. Nope. It just picks the right experts for the job. Maybe it's the Python expert and the problem-solving expert. Then only those few experts get to work. The final answer is synthesized from their output, and the whole thing is done using just a tiny fraction of the model's total compute power. It's incredibly efficient. And this is where the magic really happens. Because of that sparse, efficient design, this massive 117 billion parameter model can actually run on a single 80GB GPU. That's a huge deal. I mean, this was thought to be impossible for a model this big. All of a sudden, top-tier AI power isn't just for the big guys anymore. It's accessible to universities, startups, and even you, if you have the right hardware. All right, so we know it's big and we know it's smart. But how does GPT-OSS really stack up against the other heavyweights in the open source ring? Let's put it to the test. First up, let's talk about memory, or what we call context length. Think of it as how much information the AI can hold in its head at one time. We'll compare it to Meta's Llama 2, which is a fantastic model. But it's not even a fair fight here. Llama 2 has a context length of 4,000 tokens. GPT-OSS, 128,000. That's the difference between remembering a few pages and remembering an entire book. Okay, now what about a model like Falcon 40B? Another powerhouse. Here, the key difference is how they work. Falcon is what we call a dense model. That means every single time you ask it something, all 40 billion of its parameters have to fire up. It's like turning on every light in a skyscraper just to read a book in one office. GPT-OSS, being sparse, just turns on the lights in the one office it needs. It's just fundamentally more efficient. And just to really hammer home what that 128,000 token context window means, it's like you could give the AI an entire book to read, the whole thing, cover to cover, and then have a deep conversation with it about the plot, the characters, the symbolism, everything, all in one go. It's an absolutely massive workspace. So, when you lay it all out like this, the picture becomes crystal clear. You're looking at a model that's not just a little bit better in one area. We're talking a huge yet efficient parameter count, a massive context length, incredible reasoning abilities, and, as we'll see, a totally open license. It's really setting a new standard across the board.
And that performance isn't just on paper. Let's look at a key benchmark called MMLU. This thing is tough. It tests an AI's knowledge and reasoning skills across 57 different subjects, from history to STEM. And as you can see, GPT-OSS isn't just beating the other open source models. With a score that's pushing 90%, it is right up there, knocking on the door of the big closed source models like GPT-4. That's a huge achievement for open source.
Okay, the tech is impressive, the benchmarks are great, but what does all this power actually mean for you? For developers, for businesses, for researchers? This is the so what part. This is where it gets real. Well, it basically unlocks a whole range of things that were either too expensive or just impossible before. Think about it. A hospital can now run a world-class AI on its own servers, guaranteeing patient data stays private. You could have a powerful assistant running entirely on your laptop, no internet needed. Or you could build custom autonomous agents that can actually go out, browse the web, write code, and get stuff done for you without paying massive API fees. But for all the amazing tech we've talked about, maybe the single most important feature isn't the parameters or the context window. As VentureBeat put it so well, the biggest feature is the license. Let's talk about that license, because it's the foundation for everything that comes next. This is what turns a cool piece of tech into a platform for a global community to build on. So remember how Meta's Llama 2 license had some tricky restrictions, especially for big companies? Well, OpenAI went a different route. GPT-OSS is released under the Apache 2.0 license. And for those who don't know, that is about as open and permissive as it gets. It basically means anyone, a student in their dorm room, a startup, or even a giant corporation, can use it, change it, and even sell products with it. No royalties, no special agreements, no strings attached. And that right there, that total freedom, is what's going to create a massive ecosystem around this model. It invites the entire global community of developers and researchers to jump in, experiment, make it better, and build amazing things on top of it. That's the kind of innovation and acceleration that a closed model just can't compete with. So we're left with this final massive question. Because really, the release of GPT-OS isn't the end of the story. It's the starting gun for a whole new race. For the very first time, AI that is truly elite is open for everyone. It's in our hands now. The only real question is, what are we going to build with it?